This narrative is doing a 10x every 18 months. And let's say any crypto project that is arriving in that space right now is pretty much destined for massive things. And in this video, I'm going to cover 2 projects that are launching in the next few weeks at ICO that could potentially see enormous gains. During the last bull market, we saw Solana, Matic, and a few other new coins launching at ICO and achieving 300x's to all-time high. Could it be possible for these two? I don't see any reason why not. So hit that like button and let's get into today's video. Now guys, let me get my breath back. What am I talking about? Well, if you watched my video yesterday on Render and a few others, maybe you'll have a bit of a clue about where I'm going. Compute or computation requirements for AI applications are increasing by 10x every 18 months. And why is that? Oh, because of this. There's a scaling issue with regards to AI. AI is an incredibly demanding but fast growing industry. For example, last year we saw the launch of ChatGPT-4, and within 2 months it achieved 100 million users, which is faster than any other application that we've seen in the last few years. Now you can see the projected hardware spend in AI going up to $1.7 trillion by 2030. $1.7 trillion is pretty much the size of the entire crypto market cap during the last bull market, which was around $2 trillion. And this could well be just heading into one particular sector. Now, we all know Elon Musk, and he's already pointed out that GPUs used for computation in AI and other things are harder to buy than drugs. And what he's basically saying is the demand is coming in so fast and so hard that GPU production can't keep up. But there is one way in which it can keep up, and crypto and the blockchain is going to potentially be the savior here. Now, effectively, there's 2 ways in which this can work. An AI company, or someone who basically is demanding a GPU usage, traditionally has gone through a single instancing, okay, where they've gone to the likes of Amazon or Google, who've been able to provide them with GPU power, but just through one center. However, now through the blockchain and the introduction of blockchain technology in this space, we can now start to use something called clustering, which you can see from this image means that you can get GPU power distributed from a variety of different sources. This means that it's incredibly efficient, it's much faster, and it's much more reliable because that connection could cut out and you would still be getting your GPU provided by other providers. So armed with the knowledge that there is a massive growth trajectory in AI, GameFi, and all sorts of other things, I now know that there is a huge demand for GPU computing services where you can basically go to the blockchain and you can gain this GPU usage. Now, the benefit of doing it through the blockchain is, one, it is significantly cheaper than it is going through the traditional cloud services because you can get a variety of nodes from around the world that can feed into the system, running at much lower costs and becoming much more efficient, where they're able to use more like 100% of their GPU power rather than the traditional methods where sometimes they might be left with 90% availability or 10% or whatever on any given day. So that might be confusing, but let's make it very simple. In order to find a good quality crypto project that's going to do well, we need to know this. Is it going to solve a very significant issue that's going to continue to scale and grow without a huge amount of competition in the space? Because simply, it comes down to supply and demand. If the demand is going up and the supply is starting to go down, and the supply starts to go down, then people are going to go rushing out to try and find the next solution. And if the competition is lower as well, because it's a newer kind of thing and there's not that many people in the space, then guys, you better believe that if you've invested into the right projects, then you're going to be in a great space. So, and you're like, okay, I get you. Tell me how we find the right project. Well, that's a good question. Let's just use this little chart here. Now, this basically is going to funnel down our decisions that we can make towards whether or not a crypto project is a worthwhile project or not. Now, I know, guys, there are some meme coins out there like Cock and Bonk that made people a lot of money in like November, December. And this might not work for your average meme coin, but it works if we're trying to find projects that have sustained growth and decent upside with lower elements of risk. Projects that we can really believe in and hold our investments and actually be happy that we've invested in. Here we can see the important thing is we need to look at an overview, a market opportunity, the utility, tech, and all that competitive landscape stuff. We've already identified the market opportunity in this particular niche and industry, and then we can discover whether or not utility and tech is going to be able to do something about that, and then how competitive the landscape. Coming down to the adoption, the growth overlook, and other bits and pieces like the team, and then into things like the tokenomics and the key risks, and then the final thoughts. Many people I notice in the comments on my videos when they don't like a coin or whatever, they're like, oh, the tokenomics are bad. Many YouTube videos will just tell you like the tokenomics don't look good or whatever, because it's the only piece of data available on CoinMarketCap. And that's pretty much as far as most YouTubers will go in terms of analyzing projects. Luckily for you, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And if you want someone who's going to dive a little bit deeper on a daily basis, then guys, why are you not subscribed? Because next week I've got a hell of a project to bring to you. So get very excited for that one. Now guys, what we need to do now is to go and find our projects. And I'll talk you through the process I did in order to find these projects, rather than just go and shout them out to you and leave you relying on other people to give you the information. Teach a man to fish and he can feed himself for life and all that. Okay, so come to cryptorank.io. And then what we can see is a few bits and pieces. We can go to fundraising rounds. Now what you can see is coming down through this list, you can see all the people who've been raising money right now. And yes, this is a lot of new projects and they might be a little bit confusing because you might have to sift through a lot before you can find anything of particular use. And it does give you like a category on the right hand side. And yes, you know, there are kind of a few that you could go through, but maybe blockchain service would be the one that we wanted to look at. Now, actually for doing this, I would prefer to go to cryptofundraising.info, okay? Because we've got all of the project categories listed here. Now you can click on view all and you can go down through the list and discover all of the projects that have been raising money recently and all of the projects that might be launching soon. Now we can see all of the different industries. Notice guys, AI. AI is so big, but everyone's focusing on AI. Don't focus on AI, focus on the stuff that AI needs to make it happen, because of all these new AI projects will be demanding on the stuff underneath it. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Those are the kind of nuts and bolts, the less kind of sexy stuff that actually is going to make killer moves. Now, coming through this list, I came across a couple of projects. Now, the first one that we're going to talk about is IO.net, which is the world's largest GPU Depin provider. Now, what you'll notice here is IO.net is powered by Solana, Filecoin, and Render. 3 ecosystems and 3 coins I'm incredibly bullish on and very excited by. That's something very positive for IO.net. Solana taking away steam from Ethereum all the time as an aggressively developing layer 1 with a bunch of new partnerships and loads more exciting things going on. Render, which I showed you in yesterday's video, has been starting to do a bunch of GPU rendering, and you can see the amount of rendered scenes catching up all the time. So Render's already in the right area. Filecoin, which I talked about the other day in this video, is also starting to boom as well, and actually has been looking like a decent buy recently when I've been talking about it on the channel. Filecoin in the IPFS and cloud and decentralized storage remit. Now, IO.net is a very impressive machine. Harness the power of global GPU resources in a single click. Now, I've already roughly told you how this all works, but IO.net is slightly different. Here you can see you can create different clusters. Now, what are you talking about? Bear with me. Here you can see this particular image, IO.net, and it shows you where their GPUs are stationed, and the most significant part of that is traditionally people were using GPUs in their own countries or that kind of thing. And GPUs from over 40 countries is really cool because at different times of days, you get different demand levels within each different GPU. So you can use this network fueled by a bunch of different GPUs to ensure that you get maximum coverage at all different times of day. This is very unique to IO.net. Here as well, they offer instant payments with Solana, which is obviously very efficient and very fast. And this is ultimately hoping to save individuals up to 90% on compute costs. Remember, this is an industry that's expected by 2030 to reach $1.7 trillion. And you've got a company coming in and saying they could save you around $1,370 per month or 90% based on a 34 cents per hour model. Now, this is also cool because it's for pay as you go and lots of other bits and pieces. And you can come down through and you can learn more about this. Now, this is something else I want to talk about. A lot of projects in crypto traditionally have gained a lot of excitement and easy to gain followers when they're in like things like the metaverse and GameFi and AI, because they're like sexy narratives. Everyone kind of like has an idea of what AI is or how it kind of works, maybe. A lot of people have this kind of excitement stuff behind GameFi. This is basically powering things like GameFi AI and all that good stuff. And the world is actually demanding this. Here you can see using the GPUs from IO.net, It's costing significantly less than all centralized services such as AWS, Google Cloud, and others. AWS actually makes more money from its cloud servicing than it does from actually selling stuff through e-commerce. Google Cloud also makes in the like $20 to $30 billion range every single year from this particular type of service. Now, after delving into the markets and understanding a little bit more about this particular project, there are other projects that do similar things to this, okay? But no one does it quite like IO.net. That thing I told you earlier about harnessing GPU power from like a global network is not being done by anyone else. And this is a very interesting and significant thing. And for that reason, this project is extremely exciting. Now, coming down through and trying to look more into IO.net, now I've decided that this is something I'm probably looking at, was founded in 2019, and I can't seem to find much information on how much money they've actually raised. However, considering they've got partnerships with the likes of Render, Solana, Filecoin, they've been around for a long time, they've got a relatively large team, and they're already operating a pretty big project, you're going to imagine that the launch value of this particular token could be quite high. And we can see at the moment, 260k followers, they're growing. I mean, it's because of this that we potentially aren't going to see the astronomical 100x's, 200x's that we hope for. Now, to keep up to date with what's going on, because I don't know when they're going to launch their project, okay? I don't know when this token's going to go live. I'm just aware that it's probably happening 2024 Q1, which, it's in the next few months. I hit the follow, and if you want to keep up to date with those launches and when they're happening, and you want me to tell you about it, well then go and give me a follow on Twitter. I'll leave the link down below in the description, and you can just hit me up with the follow. I share every single day deep dives into various projects, ranging from Celestia, ranging from Render Token, Algorand, every single project you can think of, guys. If you want to learn more and get into deep dives with me, then go and give me a follow on Twitter absolutely free. Now, because IO.net might be kind of an expensive one, well, I've got another one for you, because I know you guys are like me. We want to find the 50x's, 100x's, and here's one that could potentially give it to us. GPU.net. Now, as you come over to crypto fundraising, you can see they've only raised around 500k last year. They will go through further funding rounds, and they will be gaining fundraising through the time, but it's significantly smaller by the looks of it than IO.net. This again is going to be a project that is launching this year, and it's actually a project that Virtual Bacon tipped me off about, and since then I've been diving in deeper to this one. Now, GPU.net, decentralized GPUs for mining cryptocurrencies, for doing rendering, for all sorts of different things. And this is quite cool because I think it's a bit more varied in terms of what it offers maybe than IO.net. Now, GPU.net has 12 times more GPU computing power than a project that's been doing extremely well recently. And this is that project. This is Akash, guys, which I mentioned on a video the other day. And since basically back in May, Akash is up nearly 12x. It's one of the top performers more recently in the whole crypto market. And it's because of the emergence of this Depin narrative. Now, GPU.net has also teamed up with Nvidia, NASCOM, also with the Indian government, the Swiss government, and is continuing to develop its relationships. Now, I believe this project is going to go live with a $35 million fully diluted valuation, which is pretty low for a project that has 12 times more computing power than Akash. And Akash currently has a market cap which is 20 times bigger than GPU.net. And therefore, we're starting to get very interested in this particular project. It's also interesting that they're going towards different industries, generative AI, they're going towards 3D and Web3 industries, and potentially will benefit again, like the video I made yesterday about things like the VR headset release from Apple happening on the 2nd of February, and lots of other different bits and pieces. I also recommend checking out that video from yesterday, because a lot of the information I'm sharing in this will make even more sense after watching that, where I talk about in great depth Render, Veracity, and Mana Decentraland, and where I think that's going. Again, they're looking into the growth of this particular market, and again, they've already identified where the future is heading. This comparison table is also extremely interesting. We've got GPU.net, and you can see all the different things that they can do against other companies out there. Low GPU costs comparatively with Render, much cheaper, and a variety of different areas. It does seem to me that this project is more geared towards a variety of different marketplaces. And we can see Nvidia was one of the partners and investors in this particular project. Now, we can see the roadmap needs to be updated, but into 2024, because it's saying current phase 2023, into 2024, mainnet GPU will be launched. Community hopes to be around 250k, and the financials, they'll be hoping to gain a revenue of 1.2 million. Now, most projects in crypto operate around 10 to 12x market value versus revenue. And that's in a bear market. Once we get into bull market, the numbers change and you could have like 100x in terms of company valuation versus revenue. And I think that's very promising. Now, in order to keep it short, I haven't done a huge deep dive into GPU.net and IO.net compared to what I will do myself. Get in and read the white papers more, understand more about the tokens. Effectively, the tokens are used to pay for these networks. But guys, the whole point of this video that I wanted to bring you was to really understand the value in some of these projects and some of the things they're going to be doing. There's a lot of stuff in crypto that just doesn't need to be there, but projects like this are entering into ecosystems that are absolutely screaming out for their services. And if you can capture one at the right time, then you can make some massive returns. And I think this one alone sells it to us, okay? Akash absolutely killed it during this year, and I think it's going to continue to kill it. But GPU.net is tiny in comparison and appears to be offering a huge amount more in terms of services. So guys, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Now, often the very best price to buy new coins at is not in fact at ICO, but it is pre-ICO, where you could pick up a coin like GPU.net for about a third or even a quarter of the price it launches at, which means you can get a 4x on the very day that it launches. In the past, when I bought Inspect, I actually got a 24x on the day that it launched. And what allowed me to do it? Well, it was buying at pre-ICO. And that is why we have linked down below the inner circle, where you can come into the inner circle and for just $9.99 per month, you can access 2 to 4 pre-ICO sales each and every month. This allows you to buy into projects that potentially are going to see 20, 30 X's on the day of ICO without having to stake away tokens and things like you do on launchpads. You can invest up to $5,000 into any of these projects through our venture capital fund, and as well enjoy the massive discounts from investing early into projects. And it's not just that. Every single day as well, you'll get one of these little videos from me telling you what's going on in the markets. I'm sharing various chart analysis and different things that are happening. There's things like wallet tracking. There's stuff where you can get involved in new airdrops. There's NFTs and gaming, as well as a general chat where you can talk to other crypto enthusiasts around the world. And by the 20th of January, we'll be also introducing a trading signals group where there'll be 3 or 4 specialist traders dropping their trades down, where you'll get between like 2 and 3 top quality trades every single day. And all of this is currently available for a lifetime price of $9.99 per month. However, on the 20th of January, when that signals group comes in, we'll be raising the price to $19.99. Therefore, if you want to lock in $9.99 for life before that $19 takes over, then guys, you need to sign up right now. If you're already in and you're paying $9.99, that price won't change. You will only ever pay $9.99. But after the 20th, it's going to go up to $19.99, and it's still from there absolutely crazy value. And that's in the link down below for the inner circle. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, I would love to see you again. Subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.